now it's live.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Black PushTalk. And today we have the CEO of New Order
National
Human Rights Organization, Mr. Gerald Rose, and his associate, Miss Tamika Streeter.
The national
spokesperson
for New Order.
Yes. So welcome and congratulations. Thank you for joining us on today. And wow, we've had a lot of things that have been taking place in our country, a lot of things that have been taking place locally in our community. And there's just so much,
right.
Dealing with the of course, the January 6th thing that's taking place, and then, of course, the shootings in Uvalde and Buffalo. But, of course, you guys are both national or do some stuff nationally.
Correct.
And locally.
Correct.
So just jump on in and tell us what it is that you all do.
Well, New Order is a national human rights organization. We're the voice for the voiceless. If your rights being violated, we can bring you legal representation. We have a great youth and outreach department. We're not in this business to be seen. We're in this business to get solutions.
Right.
We're the old school organization. When Dr. King and Malcolm, when they speak, they must be heard. We always don't take no. Even when the mountain is high, we make sure that it's David and Goliath.
Yes.
And we always think when we take on the case, we're eventually going to get justice. So I just want to say it's not I but we. I have on a T-shirt on the back saying not I but we, because I can't do this by myself. We all in this together. Everybody is very important in this organization. Originally from Ohio, came down here.
You've got mail.
Sorry about that. Didn't know nobody, but when God brings people into your life that's on the same level as you, we're about our business. This young lady I only known less than about maybe 6 or 7 years. I seen her at another rally. Months. I'm sorry. And something in her, I said, let me reach out to her.
Right.
Things like that. And she's been from Secretary of State to the spokesperson. She's like my second voice when I'm not around. I wouldn't even be in this building wasn't for Mika. So I really appreciate all what you've been doing.
Awesome. Yeah, because she reached out to us, and she and I had a great conversation, and so here we are today,
right.
Because of her networking skill set being showcased and everything. And the great thing about what we do as these with these type of organizations is yes, the networking, but the places that it takes us and the differences that we make in the community makes it worthwhile at the end of the day.
Right.
And I have enjoyed this journey myself, much like the two of you have, and it just gives you more incentive just to keep moving forward.
Right.
So, yeah, absolutely. So what is it that you guys are doing? Anything specific that you guys are working
we ain't
on?
We getting cases across the country. Right now we working on a guy that is illegally incarcerated. And we're not making the story up. We have documentation to prove our case. So we're going to get his freedom back. We also been working on several other stuff. For some reason, my mind is blank right now, but we just have a lot of stuff going on. But one thing about us, when someone files a complaint with us, you have to fill out documentation. It's a complaint form, and if it get approved, we move forward. Every complaint form don't get approved.
Right.
We don't play with people's lives. If we get involved, we want to make sure that we get victory at the end of the tunnel. But I can tell you our business line is jumping right now because when you have an attorney out of South Carolina reach out to you, say I've been seeing you or whatever, I'd like to meet you, whatever, and all they do is, he sue people, which I understand. I know what he wants to do, but he came to Atlanta and got on my radio station and seen some of the staff members. He was very impressed, and now he's involved.
Nice.
You know, I have staff members throughout the United States. You know, we're very close as a family. Matter of fact, on August 13th, we're having a meet and greet, your New Order family, because we know each other on Facebook, but in person, some of us don't know each other.
Okay.
But when a new staff member come on board, they treat it like they've been around for a while. You know, so one thing, we're family first. You know, I know this young lady, but I met her, and she said, Gerald, you know what, I've been in several other organizations. I've never been in an organization less than 3 weeks. They've been in the DA office. They've been inside the Cobb County Jail, several high-profile places. But I told her it's from hard work that I started here in Atlanta. It wasn't always like that. You know, you got to crawl before you walk. You know, and things like that. And people are just coming in, but you're not coming in if you're not serious, because I will not go backwards.
Right.
You know, this is serious work. You know, my house and church was put on fire growing up, death threat calls. So I know how serious this can be. You know, but I honestly say they're going to be here for the long run. You know, of course, we addressed the case. Remember the 9-year-old little Shakur? It was a young girl. We have our own issues.
Right.
She got killed at the scene where Mr. Raymond was killed, and I remember his last name. I apologize, but you know, when your rights are being violated, we don't care what color you are.
Right.
You know, of course, it's, you know, in our communities it's mostly black and white, but lately it's been black on black, and we need to, because racism is never going nowhere. I always tell people we're going to be angry about that to the rest of our life, but when you lose your life because you put too much mayonnaise on a sandwich, where's the outcry? It's always behind the scenes. But God gets me off my couch and says, Joe, you need to say something. There's some things that I know that people say, well, the system ain't for us, which I understand. It's not for us.
Right.
But we got to be just as angry, because when we're killing babies, you're probably killing the next doctor, the next president of the United States, the next judge. Why are we not angry?
Right.
You know, that's our future and things like that. So I'm going to let my spokesperson say something, because, you know, I'll talk the whole show. I don't know how long we got. So
That's all right.
It's only fair. So I know she want to say something.
I just want to say that when I was introduced to Gerald, I told Gerald with New Order family, it just gave me the motivation to go harder. I never was the type of person to give up. You know, I was the type of person to try to do things on my own, take cases, and it goes back to what he was saying. You can't do it by yourself.
Right.
And my first challenge and first test was this case that I talked to you about over the phone, Mr. Walter Frank Coleman Jr. He said he went through a couple organizations, and he said he was just sitting like nobody's acknowledging of what I'm going through. He said, I scrolled through your page and I seen you. He said, that's what made me hit you up. And one thing about Mr. Coleman is when he hit us up and he got that complaint form, he sent that complaint form back with all his facts. Right. You know, we try to tell people, you know, it was 3 days, but we gave you 5 days. You know, people just drag their feet. We don't go chasing cases. Cases come to us. But unfortunately, he's illegally incarcerated right now. We done reached out to everybody that we needed to reach out as far as his behalf. It's like they basically buying time. And when I finally got the response back from the Chief Tinsley of the parole board, it's like she want me to do her job by going to open records. We don't need his whole record. We just need the part for the parole section as to how you violated this man and revoked his parole without a probable cause hearing. There wasn't no physical harm, no physical injury, no anything. He was never fingerprinted. Y'all set him in jail without a hearing and sent him straight to prison. So he said a little over 2 years, and y'all not telling him anything. And he done spoke to the counselor because we put pressure on them. We had a press conference at Central State Prison, and you telling this man that he had a release date of last year. Why is y'all holding this man captive?
It's crazy. We know the real reason why he's in prison.
Hostage or kidnapping almost.
It's like he's like a political prisoner. Yeah. It's like Brittany Grimes. You know, I don't think she should be still in prison. You know, over in Russia. You know, just the fact they're nervous right now. The staff is treating them differently, but you know, we're gonna keep the pressure going. you know, and things like that. So we got some work to do.
We got a work to do, and like you said, we don't give up until we get a solution and victory. And it's not hard. We're demanding a release of him because they know that they're wrong. The paperwork that we have, the facts, is fraudulent.
Right.
It's fraudulent. Legal documents, I don't care what state it is, any legal documents have to have his signature.
Nothing signed by a judge.
Nothing is signed by a judge.
You're not making this up.
Wow.
And I'm going to tell you, they say he violated in Massachusetts. All right. But he was on probation in Florida. But he's in prison in Georgia. And never did had a hearing.
And how that came about is because from his first charge where he was incarcerated, he got paroled to his sister house, which is in Georgia. But the address that they have for him was an address he never lived at. Because once he got paroled there, the following day, he went to Florida and had it transferred. So basically, the main parole was supposed to have been out of Florida, not Georgia. So what they did was they used the old address in Georgia that he never stayed at, because Florida said they wasn't touching it. They don't have no reason to lock him up or, incarcerate him or anything or issue no warrant. There was never a warrant issued.
Wow.
You're not making this up. You're not making this up.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you guys are on top of it and everything, because this could potentially save this man's life.
Yes.
And it is at risk. Anytime you're in prison, you're at risk.
Right.
So that's a good thing that he has an advocate on the outside who is looking out for his best interests and his, basically looking out for his life, because he can only do so much himself. But it requires all of us to be a participant in life and to be able to do things that are going to be beneficial to those that we come across. I like to say that, I want to make a difference in someone else's life. Really, that's what we all need to be striving for, because at the end of the day, I come in contact with folk, I should be able to make some sort of difference or impression. Maybe it's good impression, maybe it's bad, but I need to be leaving an impression.
See, we're a type of organization, we all have social media, right?
Yes, sir.
And we can watch stories from a distance all day. But I'm a type of person, if I see something that's unjustly, and I'm not just going like, oh man, that's messed up. I'm going to get to my research team, look, we need to look further in this, and let's jump on this.
Right.
Because social media is here for a reason. I don't want to know about your personal business and all that, but you say that it's a bunch of mess, but that's your fault. You accept these friends that's not trying to do their part in the community. So when I see something, like this situation at Subway when a young lady lost her life over some mayonnaise, that's ridiculous. Why are we not angry over that?
Right.
I don't understand it, But again, everybody's not going to like what you do.
Right.
My dad always tell me, if people ain't talking, you ain't doing nothing. So obviously, we doing something.
Right.
We can't save the world. It's just the fact we gotta. We in Atlanta, Georgia, birthplace of Dr. King. He didn't die for us to be killing each other and all this and that. We're in partnership with the Nation of Islam. We're not even a Muslim, but she's a witness. Everywhere we go to unfamiliar territory, guess who provides security? The Nation of Islam.
Yes, sir.
She said, Mr. Sharif said, Mr. Rose, black people first. We might disagree on our religious beliefs, but when I see an organization out there fighting for my people, we gotta work together.
Have to.
That's why I like Reverend Tim McDonald, who's over the ministry here at First Laconia Baptist Church. He said, he was like a mentor to me when I first moved to Atlanta, because I didn't know nobody, and things like that. So we have to network together. It's like we're the only organization that's not do that. But we always upset when we're being mistreated wrong. We unite on Facebook, but get off social media and do your job. Don't make Facebook videos all day. Let's come together. And then we do have something, there's only a few of us there.
Right.
But it's just kind of sad sometimes, but we're not going to give up. We can't give up.
I just look at it like don't cry about it if you're not going to stand up and be a voice about it. in Mr. Coleman case, this basically like once we get the victory and the solution, he's definitely going to be a role model to
very smart
to
brother.
speak out to brothers that still behind the wall, like, you know, because when you get locked up, they expect you just to lay down.
Right.
So he would be a good role model, which he said he want to be when he come home, because he could be a living testimony to the ones that still incarcerated. Is don't lay down, don't give up. There's hope still out there. There's hope. You got to start looking into your case more, because he's a prime example of how people be wrongfully convicted and illegally incarcerated.
Yes.
He said he volunteered to go into the hole at prison to work on this case. I'm like, wow, that's committed. That show. And like I said, you got some people in there innocent, you got some people in there guilty. You don't get me wrong. I always say all police officers are not bad. We need them.
Right.
But the ones that's making bad decisions must be removed immediately. You know, because I wouldn't want to be no police officer.
Yeah.
You know, because it is a dangerous job, you know, because I know they want to come home to their family as well, too. But when you got the bad ones out here just out of control, like what happened to George Floyd, and we could go on, and Trayvon Martin, I could go on and makes the good ones bad.
Absolutely.
But they just as blamed because they know you got bad ones on the force, and they're not saying nothing. They have a code that they don't say nothing, you know, and things like that. But I just can tell you that we're not a perfect organization, but you know, we're serious. Another case is coming across our table, a young man named Kevin Upkins, but he's been in prison for 14 years, and it's a small world. When she told me, man, it's another city, I said, I know Kevin. You know, but like I was telling, we have to see the documentation first.
Right.
You know, we just don't jump on everything because we're in this business to get justice.
So tell me
Bottom
how,
line.
if I may ask this, how long have you guys been doing this? I mean, you know.
To be honest, since like '94, but when I first moved to Atlanta, I had a gap in between. I didn't just get down here and start doing organization. You know, I had kind of see what was going on, and you know, God tapped me on my shoulder. It was like, it's time to get up. I was seeing so much stuff going on down here. I know can't tackle every issue, but it was like, I know somebody needs to say something. Remember, I was just dealing with Cobb County alone.
Right.
I wasn't doing outside of Cobb, but Cobb alone was a handful. You know, right now we have a black sheriff there, a black county commissioner, chief of police. You know, so I seen how things has changed, but it's still the same mentality.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like we getting these seats and you still scared to do what you're supposed to do.
Well, that which is doing what's right for the community.
Right. It's politics.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're very proactive in the community.
Right.
Very proactive.
Right.
We don't just sit on Facebook all day, every 5 minutes. We actually just get out there.
Right.
It's like Gerald said, it's not all about protesting and rally. Yeah, once in a while, yeah, but you're not going to get anything solved if you don't network and get inside them doors, which I already have thanks to my founder.
And one of my staff members said, Gerald, I'm going to D.C. for the Poor People's Campaign with Reverend Barber.
Right.
You know, and I was like, that's the mentality that we have, you know. And I just love it. I mean, I know it's dangerous work if you're doing it the right way. You know, I'm quite sure all our phones are tapped, you know, because we will come, but we coming with knowledge.
Right. You know, you know, you said is if you do it the right way, it's dangerous work. And if I can put it like this, our forefathers of the civil rights movement set the example of how to do it the right way.
That's right.
And they did pay. It was dangerous for them. They did
right.
receive death threats, and then of course we, as you all know, that several were assassinated. Right. But at the end of the day, they got results as
that's
well.
Results.
And that's the biggest thing of being able to do advocacy work is getting some results. Getting out there, but you got to pound the pavement. You have got, but when you think about it, and you look at how for Dr. King, for instance, yes, great speeches, great sermons in the church, he was out in the streets.
That's it.
Jesus himself wasn't behind four walls. he was out in the streets.
Right.
And as the kind of organizations that we need to be associating ourselves with and aligning ourselves with and networking with are organizations that are willing to be out in the streets. And that's the part that is...
It's not part-time either.
That's
it's
right.
a full-time job.
That's right.
Yeah.
And, and it's really almost like a calling. And although a lot of us may not carry the title of apostle, bishop, pastor, reverend, elder, evangelist, prophetess, or prophet, or whatever,
Right.
The fact of the matter is, if we're out there doing the work, then we're out there doing ministry. And that's the bottom line.
Right.
Because God is still going to be looking at the work.
Right.
Are you doing the work?
Right.
And, so anyway, so I just, I don't know, I'm not sure where that came from, but it's most important that we are out there doing the work. And we can't do the work by sitting inside the four walls. We have rallies and so on. I get all of that. But sometimes you got to actually talk to the people.
Thank you. I always tell people that because I've been doing this too long. I'm not going to go backwards, just rallying, protesting, hollering, and getting no movement.
Right.
I like rallies and protests, but beyond, we pick our battles. I went to a rally this past, what day was that? A couple of days ago, and which I respect. They just getting started. I applaud all that, but I told them that, there's a process, and I'm not personally going to go out to these rallies and protests if it's not doing nothing.
Right.
We say Black Lives Matter, but then this last couple of days we lose somebody. Someone just darkens me over some mayonnaise. Okay, why are we not rallying that?
All right.
Please, racism is not going to stop. We got a lot of work to do on that. The system ain't for us. But when they killing us killing each other, that's why every second Tuesday I go into a place called Georgia Works, where people just get out of prison, it's a halfway house, and give them encouraging words. See, we're inside the doors. You know what I mean? Giving, hey, you're going to be somebody someday. Mentoring and stuff like that.
Yes.
That's the best way to do it when we're face to face talking to these people. Them the ones will support you, believe it or not.
Absolutely.
Like the young man, the guy that we're helping inside the prison, he said, Mr. Rose, I want my membership because I've been there and done that. I'm an example. You remember the movie Scared Straight?
Yes.
That's where we can use him at.
Right. Right.
I've never been personally, in a situation like that. I can never send a message where he can. So like she said, so he's not in here just begging us. He changed his life. The Nation of Islam, they really kind of find them people that's been incarcerated, they changed their life. You got to get them when they're down, so that make the organization more powerful because they can send a message that we can't.
Right.
You hear what I'm saying?
That's right.
When you behind the walls 24/7 and all that, we going home. We can eat anything we want to eat. When we live here, we're free.
Right.
But when you're under somebody else's rules and things like that, that's
that's
uneasy.
going on behind the walls. Because I was an correction officer, for Georgia Department of Corrections and South Carolina Department of Corrections, and the things that go on behind the wall, I see why, like Mr. Coleman's situation, that's putting him in jeopardy of anything to happen, because he got to protect himself.
Right.
But at the same token, he shouldn't be going through that because he really shouldn't even be sitting in jail, period.
He admitted his mistakes, I mean, it ain't like he been innocent, He admitted his mistakes, but right now, according to the documentation, he ain't did nothing. It's just the fact he's a black man. Come on now.
Right.
And to be honest with you, he's a black man, was dating a white female, a doctor.
Okay.
So when the police came to the scene, in their words, in my, he's automatic guilty. You know what I'm going with it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the documentation didn't prove it. That's where we got him.
Yep.
See. Wow. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to being able to hear more about it. So, how can the people reach you?
Okay. Well, they used to have the personal cell phone number, but they don't have that now because sometimes they don't know. I might get calls, mails, and stuff that's a little crazy. You know, like for example, I get to that in Rockdale County. There's never been a Dr. King celebration in Rockdale.
Is that right?
Yes.
Right
and
down
I
the road.
and I was a part of making that happen. This before she joined. I received some stuff. I was like, wow, is it that serious? You know, so now you have to get an 800 number.
Okay.
So it's 1-800-346-5138, or you can visit our website at www.nonhro.org. Again, no one's going to save our children for us but us.
www.nonhro.org.
Or you can call us at 1-800-346-5138.
All right. Yeah. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it for yourself. Straight from the horse's mouth, as they say. And
so we got a Freedom Fest coming up July 2nd.
But we're a part of it.
We're a part of it. New Order's gonna go out and support. You know, we're gonna go show support what we have for.
We'll network with anybody if you're serious.
All right.
If you're out here playing,
and
you won't get no handshake.
And that's July 4th.
Yes, at Great.
But I won't be here. I'm going to be in New York, but one thing, when I'm gone, the show still goes on.
Absolutely.
Even though, but like I said, she set this. I didn't know nothing about this.
Okay.
You know, so if I wasn't here, she'd be doing all this. And I'm like, Mika, I've been like, Mika, where you at?
I tell y'all, you working behind the scenes.
All right.
Y'all don't be known about here for this stuff.
The success of an organization or business
can't shut down.
Lies in those who we work with that are capable of handling business on their own while you happen to be away handling business. So that's a great thing to be able to have somebody like her on your side and everything. So I commend you both on your success and what you're doing and everything. So I would be remiss if I didn't mention our up and coming gala.
Okay.
We are Black Push Night of Service inaugural gala, which would be July 16th at the Omni Hotel. And we're going to be celebrating a number of folks like Latasha Brown and Henry Hank Thomas, Reverend McDonald, Reverend Shannon Jones, Zernona Clayton, Ambassador Young, Helen Butler,
Helen, matter of fact, I was up for an award
sir.
Against Helen Butler, and I just moved out here, and it's a privilege to be nominated. When I knew she was on the ballot, I went on and congratulated her before they announced it. She laughs as of today.
Well, I tell you, these are the folks
Helen,
that
she
we
worked
are.
with Joseph Lowry and all them.
Yes.
Reverend Orange and all them, and she's on People's Agenda.
Yes.
Yeah, so she's
we're
doing great work.
Yeah, well, we'll be recognizing them on that day.
Okay, she
everything.
deserves
so
it.
It's a black tie affair and everything.
Okay.
So
you're selling tickets.
Yes, we are. You can go to Eventbrite and be able to get your tickets there. If you happen to be a corporation, you're more than welcome to get a full table or two. Help yourself. We'll be more than happy to have you. So. But I think that's it for today. Anything else you want to say to the people before we...
To my New Order family, I love you all. On August 13th, everybody's coming to town. We're having a meet and greet. You know, we love each other from a distance, but I know everybody can't make it. But for the ones that's coming, keep doing the work, not I, but we. I love you all. New Order for life.
New Order for life.
All right. You heard it yourself. Thank you. Again, I'm James Henderson. Thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
We have stepped into the baptism of this movement.
Yes.
And we are saying, here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are. You need feet, here are our feet. You need arms, here are our arms. You need a mouth to speak truth to power. Here is our mouth.
Yes.
You need a heart that loves justice, that loves righteousness, that loves mercy, and that hates evil and injustice. Here are our hearts. Now, Lord God, from this very moment, do a work that transforms us. Let us not rest until we see victory. Let us not sleep until we see victory. Let us not sit down until we see victory. And so how can we stand? We'll stand by the power that you put in the man that sat in this room.
Yes.
We'll stand because of the anointing that you placed on him. And we're asking you to put it right now on this August body. And we're asking that you let us multiply and let us grow to the far ends of this state and throughout this nation. We pray now for your transformation, for your change, and for the victory that is ours.